Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. I choose Phoenix.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why It Matters, brought to you by Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. I'm very excited to have my guest today is Kevin Killian, and he is the CEO of Good Samaritan Boys Ranch. Welcome, Kevin. I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
So, Good Samaritan Boys Ranch is in Brighton, Missouri, right off the main highway there.
Right.
We see it when we're heading from Springfield to Kansas
See our
City.
sign.
We see the sign. So tell me about the beginning. Tell me how Good Samaritan Boys Ranch came into existence.
We were formed as an orphanage by Reverend Bob Johnson and his wife Mary from Seminole Baptist Church. And they had a calling to reach out to kids that didn't have homes. So in 1959 they acquired the property up there and built a one building that had the kids upstairs in dormer and had his family downstairs. And it's interesting because I had a chance to meet Reverend Johnson and his wife over the years and spent some time with them, and it was interesting, the whole stories and some of the history of the ranch itself, and then kind of understanding how we transitioned into what we do now. You know, there's a story that he told me that I'd always, for years, had heard it and would tell it about. They knew they weren't working just with orphans anymore when they had a car stop at the end of the driveway and the lady got out and opened the door and took her a suitcase out and her son out and shut the door and drove off.
Oh my goodness.
And so at that point they realized they were working with kids that weren't just, didn't just need parents. And so I was telling this story a year ago at a church, and I had a gentleman afterwards come up to me and say, I know that young man. He said he's a friend of mine, he's in the local community. He said, I've heard that story over the years. And he said it really brought it home. And it brought it home to me too. That it's,
sure, I'm sitting here with goosebumps.
Yeah, it really is cool, and the guy's successful, he's a business owner, and
what
it's
a
really
great
done well.
story.
So it's really cool to see how the full cycle comes through.
So they simply started as a place for kids that had no one, and
Right.
you've merged into being a place. How does a boy find himself at the ranch?
All of the kids that we have come through the state. They all are in the custody of the state. They've been removed from their homes, generally for abuse or neglect.
Okay.
And then they're sent to us with a list of issues that they're working on. And then they're with us. They're not sent to us just because they've been in trouble necessarily, although some of them have. So they're not sentenced to us. They're not sent for a specific amount of time. So they come in with a set of goals and objectives, and then we work with those kids through those. We've got 12 master's level therapists who work with the kids. They get individual, group, and family therapy. We've got an accredited on-ground school, so the kids are able to acclimate back into society and learn what's expected, and then get their behaviors back under control. And really, it's a cool process. We sit on 180 acres. We've got horses, we got cows, we got dogs. We have a lot of outdoor stuff kids get involved with. So it's really a cool thing for them to really immerse themselves in.
What a great community. So how do you judge success? What is successful for a boy?
For us, it's a myriad of answers, quite frankly. Is it a kid who is able to go back home and be successful and be part of a family and be loved by his family and everything? Or is it a young man who knows he can't go home but is able to go out and learn to live on his own, learn to have his own apartment, have a job, be successful? Is it a young man who just happens to have trouble in school who all of a sudden gets his high school diploma? Because we were able to work him through that system. So we look at it as a young man or a woman now, because we've got a girls program in Willard,
really?
who is able to take control of their own life somewhat, or at least know where they want to go. And all we do, we have a saying, we can't lead you by the hand through life. All we can do is point you in the direction and then be there to help you if you stumble. And so that's what we do. And so everybody's idea of success is different. But to know that we get phone calls and visits from former kids who come back and tell us that we were part of their family, and they bring their kids to show them where they grew up. And, that's the reason we get up and go to work every morning.
Yeah, it's like that proud parent, man. You just look at that kid.
It really is.
Wow.
and we've got a lot of former kids. One of them was the ninth boy who was at the ranch in 1959. He comes back every summer. He's a master woodsman or woodworker, and comes and works with the kid, and built a wood shop for us.
Wow.
And works with the kids
Wants
for a
to
couple
give
weeks
back.
every summer. And is really tells the boys his story, and it says, if I can make it, you can make it.
You can make it.
And so it's
What
really cool.
That's a beautiful story. I love that. So you have something pretty exciting
We
coming up
do.
soon.
We're celebrating our 60th year. We were founded in 1959 in the fall. And so in a couple weeks, we're doing our next 60, which is a celebration of the last 60 years. We're going to have an event out at the Boys Ranch. We'll give tours. We're going to have some refreshments, but we're also going to have a birthday cake
Sure,
for the
big
Boys
one.
Ranch. A big one. And then we're also going to kind of outline our next 60 years. Where are we going in the community? Where are we going working with young men and women? How are we progressing into the needs? And what are those needs? And,
Right. How's that changed?
Exactly. How has it changed? It's changed dramatically over the last 60 years, and it's going to over the next 60. So
Sure.
we're aligning ourselves up with what we're going to be doing and how we're going to get there. And it's really going to be a cool event, and we've got some big announcements coming up, and so it's going to be fun.
Exciting.
It is
So
exciting. It's
if
fun.
our viewers would like to come, how do we find you, and what's the date?
We're up on Highway 13. Go north toward. We're about almost exactly halfway between here and Bolivar
Okay.
on the right-hand side. It's going to start about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
On what day?
On Sunday, October the 20th.
Okay.
And so it'll just be from 2 to 4, but we'll be there. We'll offer some tours for people if you want a chance to look around the Boys Ranch. Over the years I've heard, you guys have fences and all of this, and we're not. We basically look like a big farm. We sit on 100
ranch.
acres.
You're a ranch.
And the boys are involved in taking care of that. Really get some pride in that also. So
That's wonderful.
it's going to be cool.
Well, it's been awesome.
Thank you
I
very
love,
much. It's
love,
nice
love
to meet
meeting
you.
and
Yeah.
learning about the Boys Ranch. And I thank you for joining us for this episode of Why It Matters.
Phoenix Home Care and Hospice. I choose Phoenix.